Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the 815 Sports Podcast. Our Week 11 picks this week. A lot of good games on the schedule. Some big news this week out of the NFL season. We're glad to have Mitchell Lucas on tonight. Good friend of ours. Obviously, great guy. Works at Joe's Pizza. Does a great job there. Mitch, anything before we start?
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. This should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. Mitch, a big Broncos fan. They got a big game this week. He'll be there. But we hop in. Thursday night football this week. Back-to-back weeks, we've actually had pretty good matchups on Thursday night. We got 7-3 Washington and 7-2 Philly. Philly favored by 3.5. Jake, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, this could be the game of the week, and it's on Thursday night for a change. Like you said, Thursday night games have been brutal. They seem to be always brutal, but not this one. And the Redskins are coming off of a heartbreaking loss to the Steelers.
Yeah.
That was a really close. The last play of the game, it was 4th and 10, and they literally ran a 9.5-yard route.
Yeah.
And he was short.
Yep.
It looked like when he
kind of
first
came
caught
forward
it,
to catch it.
that he got it, but then I don't think they gave him all the forward progress. So that's a heartbreaking loss. And then trying to think, what did Philly do last week?
They played the Cowboys in Jerry World and won that game.
Oh yeah, see, another Cowboys loss in Jerry World, a blowout. But this game to me is really tough because I don't know that I really trust Philadelphia that much. I know their record states that they're good, but you watch them play besides Dallas, and they just seem to let teams hang around. So I'm going to take the Commanders.
I got you. Let's see. We got our first comment of the night. Mike Luscombe. What's up, Mike? Just got done kicking your ass in college football. Let's see. Mitch, you go ahead and go next.
I'm right there with Jake. For 7-2, the Eagles just don't really look very solid when they play most of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
But this game's huge for both of them because whoever wins is first in the division. Yeah. So they're probably both going to be playing hard. But I think I'm going to take the Commanders too. I like Jaden Daniels. I like their defense. I think they're going to take this one.
Well, I was going to pick Washington in this game, but since both of these guys took Washington, I'm going to be different here and take Philly. I would have liked to pick Washington, but you take a look at Philadelphia. They obviously got some studs all over the place on the offensive side of the ball. Barkley, Brown, Goddard's still there, Smith. Every time they get within the 3-yard line, Jalen Hurts runs in for a touchdown. And then the fans there are just nuts. So it's going to be a tough environment.
The fans there are assholes.
Well,
not nuts.
They're a little bit of both. Edgar Lopez says Commanders handle pressure well, but I think the Eagles take it. Yeah, I agree with you. I got them in this game. Let's see what Mike. Commanders should have lost to the Bears. That is true. Philly at home will win. Yeah, I'm gonna take Philly in this one. I think if they get this win, it'll be pretty hard for Washington to come back in the division.
Well,
not that it's impossible.
They'll have another matchup, right, in Washington, so that'll be big. But
I just think they're going to get it done. I think Barkley has a pretty good day. I think this might be a high-scoring affair compared to the ones lately where we've seen a little bit lower scoring out of these two teams. Up next, Green Bay at Chicago. We hit this game early. I'll start this one off. You guys don't care. So coming to this game, pretty big game for the Packers. I mean, it's a big game for the Bears too. They just fired their offensive coordinator. And then they moved up Thomas Brown. He was the passing coordinator for the Bears. You look at his track record. He was the Carolina Panthers OC last year for 3 games after they fired Frank Reich. And the Panthers offense actually got worse when he stepped in as the offensive coordinator there. He has interviewed for a few head coaching jobs. But then when you take a look at the Bears, they've lost 3 games in a row. The last 3 games, they've only scored a total of 27 points. The Packers are one of the highest scoring teams in the NFL, ranked top 10. They average about 26 points a game. And the last 23 possessions for the Bears, they've scored 0 touchdowns.
No touchdowns in 2 games.
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of expect them to probably have a huge day against the Packers because that's just what happens when I kind of expect my team to have an easy win. And then, they only had 142 total yards of offense on Sunday. I mean, that's not good in any offense. And then I think I read that they have the 4th worst yards per game in the NFL. And it's last stat, Jake. I got a bunch of them written down here. First time since 1993 they've failed to score a touchdown in back-to-back weeks.
The Bears?
Yeah. I'm going to take the Packers in this game. Coming off of a bye.
Is it close?
I think it'll be close. The Packers seem to not be able to pull away with interceptions and whatnot from Jordan Love. But like when you come off of a bye with the way LaFleur has been the past few years, after the bye, the rest of the season he's 28-11 is his record. But immediately following the bye, he's 2-3. But the last time he played the Bears off of a bye, they smoked them in 2021 or 2022. And he's 10-0 against the Bears in his career. The Bears haven't beat the Packers since I was in high school.
Oh, you're setting yourself
I'm
up here.
I'm gonna take the Packers in this game. If we can just, kind of just control the game, let Josh Jacobs run for it, let Jordan Love do his thing. We're gonna be getting Jair back, our safety that we got. He's been phenomenal too this year. So I got the Packers in this game, and I do think the Bears will look a little bit better. And one last thing I forgot to mention, I did see that some of the Bears players had brought up bringing in their backup quarterback. I heard that was something that was maybe that's a rumor. I talked to Andrew Gotch about it. I've seen it all over Twitter. We'll see if that's true, but they just seem to have a culture problem there. I got the Packers. Mitch, you go ahead.
I'm right there with you with the Packers.
Yeah.
The Bears have a good team right now, and they're just not really putting it together. I mean, Caleb Williams has got all the offensive weapons, and they can't put it together. The offensive coordinator went 26 drives with no touchdowns. That's pretty bad. And all in 2024, they also fired another offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, wide receiver coach, assistant tight end coach, and the running back coach, all in 2024. Caleb Williams has had identical numbers to Bryce Young in his first 10 starts, which is really bad considering all the stuff that he's got on offense to work with.
Yeah.
But
because he's got more than Young had in Carolina.
Yeah, a lot more. And like you said, if Jordan Love can keep the turnovers down, I think the Packers are going to walk away with it. I don't think it's going to be close though. I think they're going to walk away with it.
I like that. I like that pick.
Pretty easily.
I've got Green Bay as well, but this just sucks for Bears fans because this was like every time the schedule comes out, you circle the game that you really want to win every year, and this is always the game that Bears fans probably circle that they want to beat the Packers at Soldier Field. They thought they had the team. I think a lot of national media and national fan bases, other fan bases, thought the Bears had the team to do it as well. I just don't know that they do right now at this exact moment. I think that they're still very talented, and the Green Bay they cannot let the Bears get off to a fast start, and the Bears don't. But if for some reason the Bears, get off to a decent start at home at Soldier Field, that place is going to be rocking, especially for this game.
Yeah.
If there's ever a game that Soldier Field's always rocking, but it seems like it amplifies when they play the Packers. But I can't take the Bears after what I've seen. They can't move the ball. Caleb Williams sits in the pocket too long. He takes too many sacks, just like Justin Fields did. But the talent's there.
Yeah.
So if they put together just a decent game, there's no reason they can't hang around this game. What's the spread?
6.5 for Green Bay.
Oh, well, that's kind of.
When are they going to fire their head coach? I mean, they got to fire that guy at some point.
Yeah.
We
got a Green Bay sweep.
Yeah. Read a couple of comments here. Edgar says, I'll take the Packers based on how the Bears fumbled the win against the Commanders. That's true. That was bad coaching. I wish Badgett would have been given a chance. I'm thinking Williams missing open receivers with bad offensive game plan was a recipe for disaster. And Williams can't beat great teams. I hate to say it, but I think he's extremely overrated, high ceiling, but mentally he's weak, he says.
But, I mean, you have to know that with a rookie QB there's going to be growing pains.
Yeah.
And I mean,
they've almost beat two really good teams.
Yeah, I mean, they should have beat Washington.
Yeah.
And the growing pains, while they do suck, I don't know that you can judge Caleb Williams off of 10 games.
Yeah.
Especially when they're 4 and 4.
They're 4 and 5. They were
they're 4 and
2.
5. So I mean, there's a lot of teams that are worse. I mean, the Dolphins are worse, and they were supposed to be great.
Yeah.
So I mean, 4 and 5. Never know.
Yeah. Let's see here. Next game, the 2-8 Jaguars missing their quarterback for the rest of the year. Trevor Lawrence is out for the rest of the year. At Detroit, I mean, Detroit was basically rolling. I went to bed. They were winning. I think it was 20.
No,
20 to 7.
Detroit.
No. I'm talking about Houston. Houston was winning. I mean, Houston was dominating that game early on. I woke up in the morning. Jared Goff threw 5 picks. I saw on the stats. I'm like, how the hell you win a game? You throw 5 picks. But oddly enough, he throws 4+ picks in his career. He's 2-0. Not many guys can say that. But Detroit just continues to find a way to get it done. I hate it, but I do like their head coach. They're favored by 13 in this game. I don't have much to say about Jacksonville. If you're picking Mac Jones and the Jaguars, I mean, good for you, but I'm not doing it. I'm taking the Lions. Jake?
I'm going to take Detroit as well. They're just too good. I think they are the best team in the league.
Yeah.
They've looked a little bit better than Kansas City has consistently every week.
Yeah.
They can score, and the reason why they throw so many interceptions is because that's their offense.
5 picks though.
No, but they won.
Yeah.
So it must not affect them that much because they just continue to throw because I don't know. The defense is just hard to. Nobody plays really defense anymore. I mean, so I like Detroit in a rout.
Yeah. Well, I can agree with that. Mitch, what do you think?
I like Detroit too. I don't think that there's any way that Jacksonville can just keep up with them defensively, offensively. Doug Peterson's definitely on the hot seat.
Oh yeah.
For sure. And I wanted to ask you guys this: how low do you think Jared Goff dropped in the MVP combo after last night?
To be honest, coming into this week, I had him in the top 3.
Me too.
I think he drops a little bit, but the fact that they're 8-1, they're probably going to be the 1 seed. He kind of stays in the conversation. But I feel like the media already kind of wants to give the award to like Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
What about Daniels? No, not no more.
I don't know. I haven't heard as much about him personally. If the Bucs weren't below 500, I think Baker Mayfield would be my MVP right now. The guy's playing great. But yeah, I think Jared Goff should be up there. Yeah, and then they have Mahomes up there because he's undefeated. But really, in my opinion, he hasn't played the best ball. Yeah. It's a good question. Carson Stiles, what's up? He says, how do you feel about the Anthony Richardson situation? Well, I watched a little bit of the Pat McAfee show today, and I don't like that he tapped himself out of that game, especially being a quarterback. You just can't do that. But Joe Flacco, I mean, he's not giving you anything more. I mean, you're kind of in a situation where you're 4-6.
He's not the answer, though.
Yeah.
So you really hate that Richardson is acting like this because he's your future. Flacco's not.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you just let him sit a few more weeks and throw him out there, or I don't know. Maybe you just have him sit back and kind of learn for a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, his ass would be on the field if I was running the team.
Yeah.
Whether he likes it or not, because that's the future. And you're 4-6, and you're a half game behind the Broncos for the 7th seed. He'd be out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but can't be hard anymore on players. So.
You think the same, Mitch?
Yep, I do. I agree.
Yeah, I agree, Lusky. It'll probably be a blowout. All right. Minnesota at the Titans. I don't know if you guys watched the Minnesota Jaguars game at all, but I did because I was hoping they were going to lose. But Minnesota playing against Mac Jones did not look good. They went 12-7, I think. Yeah. I told you, and I say it every time, 5-0, they're the only team not make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. But Sam Darnold, if the Packers make the playoffs, whoever matches up with the Minnesota Vikings in the first round, I'd be happy about that. Yeah. Because, Sam Darnold is starting to look like Sam Darnold that we've seen for years, throwing picks. I think they're a very beatable team, but I don't think Tennessee is going to beat them this week. I got them on the road. I got Minnesota.
To me, Minnesota seems like a team kind of like the Dolphins last year. They kind of are going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to be backing into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever know how they started 5-0. I mean, I watched some of that 12-7 win and just very methodical, boring, like could never get nothing going on offense.
Mm-hmm.
But again, what's the record?
7-2.
So 7-2. I mean, shit. 7-2. I think we'd all like to be 7-2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you can't pick the Titans. Minnesota Viking fans are going to flock to that stadium, and they'll be doing the skull chant in Tennessee all day. So I got the Vikings.
I agree on the Vikings. Sam Darnold, I don't know why he just fell off so hard. I mean, like you said, he's looking like he did in his past years, but it's like, he's got Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones. It's just like he shouldn't really be doing as bad as he is. And obviously he has a really good defense to fall back on. Yeah. And that just benefits him. But I can't see the Titans beating them either.
Who's their backup QB in Minnesota?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Because this is probably not a right question to ask, but do you consider if he's worth a shit? Do you consider it?
Maybe if it continues.
I mean, if you win again 12-6 in Tennessee, I mean, you've got to be looking at options because you're not going to beat good teams like that.
Yeah. No, that's a good question.
It's probably not going to happen, but I just didn't know if it was a decent backup like the Colts.
Yeah.
Look
that up really quick. Jake, 2 people in the comments, they say they both agree with you. All right. We were talking about Minnesota. All right, Vegas at Miami. You guys know what I said about the Dolphins last week. I kind of did that to fire Jake up.
Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins is the backup in Minnesota.
Probably not going to be your answer either. So,
Jake, I think Miami's got a really good shot at getting to 4-6 here at home against Vegas, who is very bad. This is probably bad. I should know this, but I couldn't even tell you who their starting quarterback is in Vegas.
Is it Aiden?
It is Aiden O'Connell, yeah. Miami has way more talent, at least on the offensive side of the ball. The one thing I don't like when I watch the Dolphins, Jake, is it seems like almost every single play they throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage. It's some sort of complicated run play. And there's nothing wrong with that, but they're just not executing.
There's wrong with it. I've said
it's working.
I've said it since the fucking Mike McDonald show started. You want me to go?
Go ahead, yeah. I got Miami though.
The Dolphins are now 3-6. It was a pretty good win. I'm going to be honest. Besides Tua looking lost a little bit out there a couple times, he threw a couple bad passes, and I don't know what the fuck he's trying to do, but he don't need to be tackling nobody.
Head first.
Yeah. So he needs to just – I love that he doesn't let the guy go in for a pick six, but you're right, out of bounds, either shove him or try to slow him down. Good. I mean, the season relies on Tua. I think everybody here has seen that. But they're now 3-6, and they go home to play the Raiders, and the Raiders are 2-7, and then the Dolphins stay in Miami and get to play the 3-6 New England Patriots following week. If you're not 5-6, Mike McDonald needs to be fired. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because this season has been an absolute, utterly embarrassment disaster.
Well, what's the schedule look like for the rest of the year? Did you have that on there?
And then they go to Green Bay on Thanksgiving night.
That'd be tough. You gonna go or what?
I don't know. Maybe.
Wishy-washy on
and
it.
Then,
said he would at the beginning of the year. He's wishy-washy.
But then they come home to play the 3-6 Jets,
who look very feeble.
At Houston.
San Francisco's a loss.
They come home. That's in Miami, so take it easy. And then they're at Cleveland and they're at the Jets. I mean, the record versus these teams, it's a losing record because you play 5 teams that have 2 and 3 wins.
Yeah.
So if you can find a way to go 1-2 versus the 3 winning teams, that puts you at 9. That puts you at 9-8. You never know. And if you can win another game, 10-7.
Yeah.
But the Dolphins, apparently they must have signed somebody pretty good today. Tyrell Dotson off of waivers from Seattle. He led the Seahawks in tackles.
Yeah, he was their starter.
I don't understand what happened that he just gets put on waivers when he leads the Seahawks in tackles. And he's got 71 tackles, 5 for loss. He's got 2 sacks and a forced fumble. I mean, this guy seems pretty good. What's he doing on waivers?
I don't know.
Dolphins picked him up.
The Dolphins seem to always pick up guys with big names. Shout out Chris Greer.
No, he sucks. Chris Greer has been with the Dolphins since 2000, and they have 1 playoff win. So, I got written down here. Question mark is, can they win one of the 49ers or Packers game? I would say that they have probably a better chance of winning the 49ers game because the Dolphins seem to historically play well in Miami. Mm-hmm. Historically, they play fucking awful in the cold, so they will probably get slaughtered on Thanksgiving night in Green Bay. But their defense has been pretty good. They rank 9th they rank 8th in passing defense, and they rank third in third down defense. So when it's
That's pretty
third
good.
down, the Dolphins are
Yeah.
getting off the field.
Yeah.
That's what you want. And they rank, this is an offensive category, but they're ninth in rushing. So all these stats state that the Dolphins should be better than 3-6. They aren't. So shut up, Jake. But here's a good stat. Tua leads the NFL on third down completion percentage. He's 31 for 44, which is 70.5%. So both on third downs on offense and defense, the Dolphins are staying on the field and they're getting off the field. So, yeah, Kendall Fuller is in concussion protocol. He ain't going to play. Raheem Mostert was their starting running back, got demoted for fumbling 3 straight games and 3 critical fucking times. The Dolphins have the third easiest remaining schedule in the NFL. And the Dolphins offensive tackle, Austin Jackson, is done for the season. Knee surgery.
A big loss.
Yeah, it just seems to be when they do something good, something shitty happens. So I got the Dolphins, and I honestly think the Dolphins win pretty big.
Yeah. That'd be good. Finally get Tyreek Hill a deep shot. He hasn't been that good this year in fantasy yet.
I don't care. Just win.
Yeah. Mitch?
I agree. If they have a time to turn it around, that time would be right now with these two games that they got coming up. I mean, the Raiders are not a good football team whatsoever.
No.
I mean, they've been going through a 30-year rebuild. I mean, it's kind of been crazy how bad they've been for a really long time. And, like Max Crosby, I don't think he's going to stay there much longer because he wants to win.
Yeah.
He's going to
He's a hell of a talent.
Yeah. Then they're probably going to get another quarterback in the draft is what it's looking like. I don't know if Gardner Minshew's the guy or Aiden O'Connell's the guy.
I agree, yeah.
But I was also surprised that Miami was able to shut down Puka, Cooper Kupp, and Kyron Williams because that's a deadly combo when they're all together, and they did a great job.
Very shockingly, they were able to sack to get to him, which was unbelievable because they have not been sacked. They've been rushing none all year. So what you said was right. They were able to stop that because they were able to get pressure on the quarterback the whole game.
But I got Miami.
Yeah.
Pretty easily as well.
So it's looking like Thanksgiving night could be a pretty big game for both teams.
It could be. I look at every game the Packers play as a big game. It determines my mood for at least a day or two. Rams at New England. Look, the Rams should win this game. Like Mitchell was just saying, you got Kupp, Nakua, Kyron. I've always thought Stafford is a pretty damn good quarterback. McVay. They should win this game. I honestly will say handedly. I don't think New England's a very good team. They beat the Bears last week 19-3, but I also think there were some other things involved there. But I think the Rams get to 5-5, and really at 5-5, you're right there in that division.
For sure. And probably a 7 spot too.
Yeah, the Cardinals there at 6-4, and then San Francisco right behind them at 5-4. So you're right there in the division. You win this game, but I got the Rams.
I got the Rams too. They're coming off of probably for their fans, a shitty loss, and the Patriots are coming off of a good win. So I think the Patriots are going to come back down to earth, and I think the Rams are going to go back up to the level that they're able to play to. And I think they beat New England pretty handily. I mean, New England took it to the Bears, but they only scored 19 points. So they didn't really do anything that made you think, wow, like if the Bears were just competent last week, they probably would have won the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the Rams.
Yeah.
I like the Rams too. I think Drake May is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's looking pretty solid. Like I said before, with Puka, Cooper Kupp, and Kyron Williams, they should be just a really solid, a tough to stop offense, honestly. And I'm genuinely surprised that division is as close as it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they're all like one game apart.
I thought it might be one of the better divisions. You have the Niners who they kind of fell off, but now they're coming back. Thought Seattle was going to be okay. They're
3-0
okay.
start.
3-0 start. And the Cardinals, honestly, have been the team that have kind of.
Kyler had the best game of his career on Sunday.
think they're going to win the division.
Yeah, he's looking solid, but I got the Rams in this one.
Yeah, I agree, though. Drake May looks decent.
Mm-hmm.
He looks decent. He gets some good players around him. I think he'll be a decent NFL quarterback.
I do too.
All right, so this should be a shitty game. The Browns at New Orleans. I'm not going to be watching this one, folks. Oh, geez. Do I want to pick Jameis Winston or Derek Carr?
Well, New Orleans just beat Atlanta last week, so.
Yeah. Who would have thought that? Lose 7 in a row and then you beat them. Let's see. Luscombe says he's got – you can click on it, Jake.
Yeah,
It pops
I
up.
agree.
Says he's got the Rams winning the division at the beginning of the year. I think they will win this game and get back on track.
I agree with Mike.
They'll hang around. I agree. Browns Saints. So yeah, I'm surprised they beat the Falcons last week, but kudos to them. The Falcons kicker missed a lot of kicks, which I can't believe because he's normally a really good kicker. Cleveland
And it was in a
shambles.
dome.
Yeah, Cleveland in absolute shambles this year. I'm just going to take the Browns. This is the reason I'm taking the Browns. Jameis Winston coming back. He used to play in New Orleans. Give me the Browns. Jake, I got nothing else to add.
I'm going to take the Saints. I taking the Browns on the road. I don't know. That seems to be like I don't know why you're doing that, but I'm taking the Saints at home. Going to get to 4-7. And yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much all I got. Both these teams are just, I don't know.
Yeah, I got nothing really on this game.
They're both bad. It just depends. What team are you going to have that shows up? Are you going to have 3 touchdown Jameis, or are you going to have 3 interception Jameis?
Yeah, you don't know.
You're gonna have a good Derek Carr or a bad Derek Carr. So I mean, it just really all depends on that.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't know why the Browns are as bad as they are.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a solid defense. It's almost the same defense as last year.
Yeah.
They've got some pretty solid weapons on offense. With Amari Cooper leaving, that sucks.
Yeah.
But they definitely need to find. They're like a quarterback away from being good.
Yeah.
But
and they used to have that quarterback, and then they let him go.
I think the Cleveland Browns had expectations. I think their fan base had expectations this year.
I thought they were going to be a playoff team.
Maybe not a division winner, but like competing for the division and definitely in the wild card race. Fuck, now they might probably get the first round draft pick.
Yeah.
But
But
Carolina.
But I'm gonna go with the Saints on this one. I can't. I love James Winston. He's hilarious, but I just can't really trust him because you don't know who's gonna show up.
You can't.
I mean, yeah, but I got the Saints.
You could get good Jameis, and
Mhm.
they beat who they beat at home. They beat the
The
Baltimore
Ravens,
Ravens
yeah.
at home.
Yeah.
How about the Ravens with 2 really bad losses this year?
Yeah.
They could be the best
Raiders.
team in the league without those 2 losses.
Yeah.
But you are what your record is.
Yeah.
So.
And speaking of the Ravens, we jump into this. I mean, how about the noon slate this weekend? A lot of good games.
I think this could be a game of the week too.
Yeah, this is with. I mean, why can't we have this as Sunday Night Football? We were gonna have the Colts and the Jets, but they flexed it to noon.
Thank God. Oh, look at who they got on Monday Night Football. My good God.
We'll get to it. But we got Baltimore. They're favored by 3.5 on the road against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's playing really good football. Russell Wilson has looked pretty damn good. It's like I'm watching him in like the mid 2010s. He's playing really good again. Pickens does really well there, the wide receiver. Najee Harris has been running the ball really well. And then Baltimore, who has been one of the better teams, if not the best team in the NFL at times this year. I mean, Derrick Henry's been a stud at 30 years old, which I can't believe. Normally that's where they just decline. Lamar's still good. They got Johnson there. I know Mike Tomlin threw a dig at him today. Said we're not really worried about Deontay Johnson. So I'm sure Deontay will love that because they just the wide receivers always seem to be big divas.
Every team.
But
This game's for first place.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is huge. I mean, Pittsburgh's going to be waving those goddamn yellow rally rags around. And this could be game of the week, just like I said about Thursday night. And Washington will definitely be keying in if they win on this game. Or no, that's wrong division.
Yeah, what do you mean there?
No, I fucked
They're
up.
in totally different conferences.
So who you picking?
I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh at home. Baltimore kind of snuck by last week. I think it's going to be an absolute dogfight. But I like Pittsburgh in this game.
What's the spread?
3.5 to Baltimore. Yeah, I got
See,
Pittsburgh. I like what
me-
I've seen, and I love Tomlin. I think he's a great coach. That's why I'm picking the Steelers.
To me, I can see Baltimore being favored, but Pittsburgh just won on the road versus a good team. That's what I'm at because they just played Washington. So they just won on the road, and now they're coming home, and they've got a better record. Sometimes I don't. Vegas knows, okay? Vegas knows everything, but I just don't know about that spread. I don't know. I don't want to pick Pittsburgh.
Who are you picking then?
I'm going to take Baltimore, but every time I've picked against Pittsburgh this year and this thing, they've won.
Yeah.
I picked Washington last week. Pittsburgh won. I mean, they just seem to. I don't really like their offense, but they just win. I'm going to take Baltimore.
They always win. They're over 500, I think, every year since he's been there. Luscombe's got the Ravens. Mitch, who you got?
I think I'm going to take the Ravens too. It's kind of tough to decide this game. It's going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
I think they're both going to be playing hard. I think it's going to be a shootout as well because the Ravens secondary is not good. I mean, They allow the most points in the NFL. You got George Pickens out there. Who did they just get? Mike Williams.
Yeah.
They got Mike Williams.
Last week.
Yeah, they got Freiermuth. If Russ gets to cooking, I think it's going to be a shootout. But
Yeah.
that's just if he gets to cooking.
Yeah.
But he has been looking solid. I mean, as much as that sucks to say as a Broncos,
I'm not
but
sure
he's
they
been
do
looking
why.
good.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they do why.
I remember that.
If you're the Steelers, do you want to get in a shootout with Baltimore, though? I don't know that you do.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
But who knows?
Who'd you say you got there?
I got Baltimore.
Yeah.
So do we got a sweep? Oh, no,
Yeah.
Cole took Pittsburgh.
I took Pittsburgh. All right, Falcons at Denver. Mitch, you're going to the game. I'll let you start this one off to your team.
Well, I think this is the Broncos' first home game in the last two games. They had to play probably the two toughest road games in the league, going against Baltimore, which they got blown out, but then they almost beat the Chiefs in Bo Nix's first game at Arrowhead Stadium, which was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think both these teams have got a lot to fight for. The Falcons just lost to the Saints, and the Saints are not a good football team at all. But the Falcons probably shouldn't have lost that game. They should be a really good team, and they're probably going to get that 2 spot in the playoffs. But Bo Nix is doing awesome. I mean, like, he's got nothing around him besides Cortland Sutton, and he's making it work.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got horrible tight ends. He's throwing touchdowns to tight ends. We've got 2 rookie wide receivers, and he's balling out with them. We definitely have 0 run game. Javonte Williams is horrible.
I thought he was going to be decent this year. I took him.
I mean, ever since his ACL, MCL injury, he has not been able to return to his former self. McLaughlin's not bad. He's young, but they need to be feeding Estime the ball more. He is a tank, and he had 2 fumbles on his first 9 carries, so he did not get to touch the ball at all, but they just switched him to running back 1, and he did pretty solid last game.
Yeah.
I hope Denver's defense holds up because this is a dangerous team on offense. I mean, they've got good wide receivers. They got Kyle Pitts. They got Bijan. But Denver does thrive against quarterbacks that can't move out of the pocket. And Kirk Cousins cannot move out of the pocket. And if they do their quarterback keep, they're gonna eat them up. Our secondary is obviously good. You got Surtain, you got Riley Moss. Riley Moss is doing awesome this year. But I'm going to take the Broncos in this one. That might be a little biased, but I think they're going to pull it out. They had at least one game that they should have won. But I'm gonna take the Broncos in this one.
Yeah, I agree with everything Mitch said there. I'm not a huge Kirk Cousins guy. Sometimes he'll give you 4 touchdowns and 500 yards, and the other times, he'll have 2 fumbles back there because he can't move. I don't know why they're doing so much in the pistol, but it seems to be working for him. And then I really do like what I've seen out of Bo Nix this year. Like you said about Surtain, he's one of the best corners, if not the best corner in the NFL. He's young. Their defense is pretty decent, in my opinion. I know the run game's not that good for them, but Atlanta does have a lot of weapons, so it is going to be kind of tough to slow them down.
Yeah.
But Denver's like just a tough place to play because teams go in there. The Mile High Stadium, they're not used to that. And I think that's going to be a difference here. I think Denver's going to sneak by in this game. I think just like sneak by, I'm talking like 1-2 points. I got Denver.
Well, that's the spread, right? 2.
Yeah.
So this is an intriguing game because both these teams need a win. Because Denver don't want to go to 5-6 and then open up pretty much every team still has a chance to get that last wild card spot if they're 5-6.
Mhm.
And if the Falcons go to 6-5, that's going to open up. Are they in first in the AFC South or NFC, whatever division they're in?
AFC West.
Are they in first?
Denver?
No.
Oh, you're talking
Okay.
about Atlanta. Yeah, they're in
Yeah.
first. NFC
So,
South.
but
yeah.
if they go to 6-5, they'll be opening up for the whole freaking division still, though, must be in it, besides probably Carolina. But I just think Atlanta has a little bit too much offensively. Denver plays really good at home, and they have ever since I've been watching football. It's always been a tough place to play. I'm going to take the Falcons in this game in a really close, maybe like a field goal, game-winning field goal, deciding game.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be a good game. Where are your seats at?
We're like on the 30 row, like 29.
Yeah.
So we're pretty close. It was a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to the Carolina game because
Yeah.
I wanted to watch the Broncos win.
Yeah, I think they can win this.
Yeah,
game.
I think
this is a game they can win,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good game too. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
And
Nick
Bo
says,
Nix
"In Bo
we
Nix
trust."
we trust." I do like Bo Nix.
Mhm.
Did you guys see that clip
Really
of them?
good, really good.
It was him and a few of the other Denver I think the whole Denver quarterback room, they were all talking about shit with their girlfriends.
Oh,
and
yeah, that
videos.
was cool. I watched
I
a
did
little
see
bit of
that.
that.
But anyways, Seattle at San Francisco. San Fran favored by 6.5. McCaffrey's back. He still looks like the stud that he is. Had to get that time off. Seattle started out 3-0. I mean, they're 4-5 now. I like San Francisco in this game. You know, they're a much better team than Seattle, much better team. I like Shanahan, great coach. I think they're going to outscore them. I think they're going to get pressure on Geno. I like everything about San Francisco. I think they get the win here.
I think San Francisco has too much to throw at Seattle. I don't think Seattle can go punch for punch the whole entire game. They might be able to do it for like a half of football. It might be like a 21-14, 21-17 at half San Francisco. But I think eventually San Francisco becomes too much, and they ultimately probably end up winning by 2 touchdowns. And they get to 6-4, depending on what Arizona does. Is Arizona on a bye? I feel like we haven't talked about
Arizona's
that.
on a bye.
Is Arizona 6-4?
Yep.
So
first.
This is for first place for San Francisco. I got the Niners.
Yep.
It is a super important game for both of them. I mean, this division's so close.
Sure.
I thought that the Seahawks were going to be way better than what they were, and at the beginning of the season, I thought I was right, and then they just fell off the face of the earth. I mean, Geno's throwing almost 2 picks every game. He's got probably the best wide receiver room in the NFL with Tyler Lockett, DK, and
Smith and Jigba.
JSN.
Yeah.
And then you got 2 beasts at running backs. You got Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker, and obviously with who's their new head coach, Mike McDonald.
Great. I think is it Mac McDonald, because it's not the same as Mike McDonald, the Dolphins. There's a little bit of a difference in their names.
Yeah, he was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens, I believe.
Yeah.
And they looked super solid at the beginning of the year, but they just fell off. I mean, and with the Niners getting their weapons back and
At
home, I think that they're going to start racking up some wins here, and I'm going to take San Francisco in this one for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But Seattle, with what he just said, Seattle's got enough to stay in this game. So it's going to come down to if Geno takes care of the ball, who knows?
Because there are times when Brock Purdy throws a lot of picks.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and then they get to 5-5, and then they're like, hey, we're only 1 game out too. So Seattle's got a lot riding on this game.
Yeah. Up next, we get to the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs, who seem to find a way to get it done every week. My dad doesn't know how to comment on YouTube, so he sends me text messages that pop up on my computer, and he spelled it wrong, but he said to wear snow skis up there. Let's see. And then we got Kansas City at Buffalo. Buffalo favored by 2.5. It's a tough place to play there in Buffalo. I think this is finally the week. I know, like Jake said, you shouldn't have picked against Kansas City until they lose, but I tell you what, Josh Allen, Buffalo, I think I don't know. Like, the Kansas City has just not impressed me this year.
Yeah,
Travis
but I don't
Kelce's
think
got-
Buffalo has impressed me either. And Kansas City's undefeated, and Buffalo's 8-2.
Look, I'm
So
taking
there's a
Buffalo.
little bit of a difference.
I'm taking Buffalo.
I watched the shitty Miami Dolphins go up there and should have beat the Buffalo Bills. So until Kansas City loses, I ain't picking against them. Okay, they got the refs on their side, they got Fade on their side, they got Taylor Swift on their side. They've got a lot going for them.
Yeah.
That helped them win. They got Andy Reid, who I think is the best coach in the NFL. I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. He's probably going to be the best quarterback of all time after this is all said and done. And I just think that this is going to be a shootout because when really good teams play each other, they seem to do what their strengths are, and these two teams' strengths are scoring.
Mm-hmm.
And both quarterbacks.
Kansas City has a really good defense, though.
Yeah, and I don't know that Buffalo does have a really good defense. So I like Kansas City.
Dad, you need to learn how to spell. I don't know what you're texting me. Anyways, he's got Kansas City.
I got Kansas City in an upset.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with the Bills in this one because I want to see the Chiefs lose. I mean, they have to lose at some point.
Right.
Josh Allen has been playing awesome football this year. Like you said last week, he's been cutting down on the turnovers.
Yeah.
He's kind of been playing with nothing on offense besides James Cook. I mean,
True.
He hasn't really had too many threats at wide receiver. And going into this year, I thought by now the Bills were going to be 5-5.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought they were going to have a bad year, but I kept telling people, I said, if Josh Allen's the real deal, he's going to prove it this year with no weapons. He's gonna make it happen. He's gonna do what Josh Allen does. But if Mahomes can put points on the board, I'm not sure if Buffalo's defense is all that good. But Mahomes, if he keeps scoring consistently, and he obviously doesn't throw any picks because he's been throwing a lot of picks this year.
Him and Jordan Love there at the top of the league.
Yep. But I'm going to take the Bills because, I mean, if the Bills don't beat them, the Chiefs play all their next games are Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Browns, Texans, Steelers, Broncos. I mean,
they have a chance to go undefeated.
Those last three games, Texans, Steelers, and Broncos.
Those are going to be tough.
They're going to get a loss out of there.
Yeah, the Chargers game is definitely going to be tough too. But I mean, the Bills have got to do it to them. I mean, I can't see being a Broncos fan. I can't see this happen. I don't want it to happen. I don't want the three-peat to happen. I don't want the undefeated season to happen.
Look, if Kansas City loses, the Miami Dolphins remain the only team to ever go undefeated. So I would. It's hard for me to root for Buffalo, but I do need the Chiefs to lose one game so that 1972 stands forever until I die.
I do not want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. I'm sure we'll see it, but I do not want to see them in the Super Bowl again. I sure as hell don't want to see them.
It's already going to go through Kansas City. The AFC is going to run through Kansas City. They're 9-0. They're going to have to drop 3 games because the next team has 2 losses, right? Mm-hmm. So they have to drop 3 games. But
if the Bills win this game,
that's true.
It puts them right there.
They would have the advantage, but they would still have to drop 2.
Yeah. All right. Before we get to the Sunday night game, I forgot we added this one in. So Indianapolis at the Jets. The Jets got absolutely embarrassed.
About Cincinnati and Chargers.
We are. I just moved it. I said that because it got flexed.
Oh.
So I just switched it.
Okay.
But the Jets got absolutely embarrassed last week in Arizona. Just it's kind of pathetic, what's going on there. I'm sure Rodgers basically has his hands in everything. They trade for Devontae Adams. They fire a coach midseason. You still expect to do something. You make a move after that. You fire a coach midseason, your season's pretty much over. I've never really heard of firing a guy midseason and making the playoffs. And then Indianapolis, they just kind of hang around. Joe Flacco is still going to be the starting quarterback, their head coach said. Taylor, he ran for a shit ton of yards last week, didn't get in the end zone, but he's a stud running back. The Jets defense really is not that good. I thought that it would be good. Some of the guys they got over there, Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, but I keep doing it, and I'm going to do it again this week.
Doing it just like I keep picking the New York Feeble Giants.
And here I am. I'm going to pick the Jets in this one. They're favored by 3.5. I don't love it. They're at home. You get to 4-7, and as shitty as the AFC is, you're kind of still in it.
Yeah.
You don't love your spot there at 4-7, but you're still in it. I got the Jets.
I think I'm going to take the New York Jets as well, and I absolutely hate the Jets. But this game to me is just blah. Like I mean,
struggling offenses.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just feel like of course, I'm a Dolphin fan, and they're 3-6, and I think, oh, well, I feel like the Dolphins can score. I don't know about, I just don't know about these two teams right now. But like Cole said, either team's still in it if they get it. Whoever wins this game is still in, 100% still in the race.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with the Jets being at home, with the Jets having Aaron Rodgers, I just think they win this game. Find a way.
Well, like I said, the offenses are struggling really bad, and I just genuinely don't know why Joe Flacco's doing bad. Like when they had to put him in for Anthony Richardson's injury, he was balling out. He had 8 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing good. Same thing with the Browns, but I think it's the responsibility that falls on him now, because when he got put in for the Browns, he just got signed to the practice squad and just got thrown in there, and they're like, hey, if we make the playoffs, we make the playoffs. He only got played 6 games, 5 games. Now he's got to lead this team, and he has a lot of responsibility behind him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he needs to pick it up. I like what Jake always says. The Jets are going to jet, and I think that's. I want them to be good because I do like Aaron Rodgers, and their whole offense should be good.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't really make too much sense, but they did fire their head coach. I think Joe Flacco gets it done this week, and I'm going to take the Colts.
Yeah. The Jets will jet. They've done it my whole life.
Sunday Night Football, Bengals at Chargers. I got the Bengals in this one. The Chargers do have a good defense, but I just don't think that they can score with Cincinnati.
So this is a big game because the Chargers have the 6th seed, and if they drop to 6-4, that opens up, and the Broncos lose, that opens up the 5th and 6th seed for almost entirely teams, the whole freaking AFC.
Yeah.
So this is a big game for the whole AFC. Everybody should be rooting for the Cincinnati. I'm rooting for the Bengals.
The Bengals need this game too.
Yeah, the Bengals need this game too. They're not going to win their division, but
I mean, Jamar Chase is an absolute stud. Burrow, if they weren't 4-6, would be at the top of the MVP conversation.
Are they not the scariest team that you could see being a 5, 6, or 7 seed going to play a team at their place and win because they're just so they've got so much offensive power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you would not want to see the Bengals. I got the Bengals.
Yeah, I also
think they're
got the
too
Bengals.
much
I agree.
offensively.
I agree.
Yeah, I think I got the Bengals too. I can't see Herbert keeping up with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow.
No, I don't either.
I mean, I'm genuinely surprised that they are 6-3. I thought they were going to be bad this year. Harbaugh really turned it around. I mean, they've got their defense is night and day from last year.
Yeah.
And I think the Bengals are going to pull it off because I think the game is definitely important for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the Bengals are going to pull it off. I hope they pull it off just for the Broncos' sake so that they can get higher in their division. But, I mean, Joe Burrow is playing awesome football, and it's just I think he's going to keep it going. And
when you're well coached, I think it helps.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're well coached, and they got a good defense, and they're at home. This is going to be a tough game for the Bengals. But I think they are too much offensively.
Bengals, the most unlucky team in the NFL. That is true. They've lost a lot of close ones.
Mm-hmm.
Monday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys at home against the Texans. Dallas always gets
America's
a primetime
team.
game.
I'm so sick of this bullshit.
They're not good.
No, but what have I said about Dallas? Every time they play a good team in Dallas, they get absolutely demolished. It happened again. They lose by 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to happen again. Houston's going to rout them.
The good thing about this game being at night, though, is that their wide receivers won't get blinded in the end zone when he could have got an easy touchdown because Jerry decided to build it where the sun could come in there. And you play a lot of games in the afternoon. And then
good job,
you
Jerry.
can't catch it. It's like a fly ball. You can't catch it because you got the glare in your eyes. I got Houston in this one.
I got Houston in a
Houston
row.
should have won last week. Cooper Rush, the Cowboys just done. Dak's done for the year. Houston needs this one too, by the way.
The battle of Texas is going to be a pretty, Houston fans are probably going to flock there because I bet Dallas fans have given up. So this could probably end up being essentially a home game for the Texans.
Yeah, I got the Texans.
I got the Texans.
I got the Texans too, and I think Dallas is 0-5 this year at home. And last year they were undefeated at home.
Yeah.
I mean, they should be a good football team. I don't know why. I mean, last year they were last 3 years they were 12-5.
Yeah.
And they looked really solid on offense and on defense. And it's almost pretty close to the same team. And I think Mike McCarthy is definitely on the hot seat too.
Oh yeah, he's
I
gone.
mean,
He's gone after this year.
If I was head coach, I would definitely start Trey Lance over Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
I don't even know who Cooper Rush is. I mean, like, Trey Lance has definitely got a lot of talent. He's not the best quarterback, but if you're trying to get wins, I would definitely throw him in. The Texans' O-line is horrible, and I think that's one of the reasons why they've lost their recent games is because they don't give CJ enough time.
They're very vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, with Micah Parsons rushing at him too, I mean, they got to stop him. But yeah, I got Houston, and I think they're probably going to win by 2 or 3 touchdowns. But yeah, it really sucks for Dallas this year. I don't really like Dallas, but
they're America's team.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I think the Lions are America's team now.
I think that's a fair statement because they have captured. I feel
America's
like
hearts.
everyone's rooting for Detroit because of Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
He turned the organization around for sure.
And how about Joe Mixon this year? You know,
Awesome.
The Bengals get rid of him, and he's been an absolute stud for them.
Oh yeah,
Absolute stud. But yeah, a lot of good games this week. Mitch, we thank you for coming on. Thanks to everybody in the comment section. Hopefully you guys come back next week. We haven't decided who our week 12 guest will be. Jake, you got anything to say?
Nope. Fins up.
Mitch, any last words?
Thanks for having me. I was looking forward to this for the past week and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was putting notes down. I was like, dude, this is going to be awesome. Because I probably about the past 4 or 5 weeks, I set up my phone at work and I just watch you guys talk about it. I think what you guys do is awesome.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you watching it, Mitch.
Thanks
we appreciate the support. We appreciate you coming on, Mitch.
Thank you,
So
sir.
thank you very much. Everybody support Joe's Pizza. In my opinion, the best pizza at Streeter. Everybody have a good night.